What if the person who says I love you is the same person you must run from to stay alive? Emily Adams tasted salt before she tasted fear. His kiss was warm, but the warning in her chest was warmer. Candlelight flickered across Han Jun's perfect face. The living room was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes small sounds feel loud. Outside, Seoul hummed like a faraway dream. Inside, danger breathed in a silk shirt. Tomorrow is ours, Han Jun whispered, brushing her hair behind her ear. His smile was the kind that fooled cameras and charmed crowds. You and me, Emily. Forever. Forever should be kind, Emily said softly. He laughed like it was a joke. He pulled her closer. His cologne was clean, his hands were steady, his eyes were bright, too bright. Don't start, he murmured, kissing her cheek. Not tonight. She wanted to believe him. She wanted a normal night. She wanted soft music, slow kisses, quiet hearts. She rested her head on his chest and listened to the rhythm there, counting beats like steps on a bridge. Do you trust me? He asked. Emily breathed in, held it, and let it go. I want to. He kissed her again. Sweet at first. Then hungry. Then harsh. The shift was small, but she felt it. His fingers tightened on her waist. His mouth pressed too hard. His breath changed. Sharp, impatient, wrong. Han Jun, she said, gentle but firm, slow down. He froze. The light in his eyes tilted. Mood like a switch. Slow down, he echoed, a smile stretched too thin. My bride wants rules. I want respect, she replied. Her voice didn't shake. It shivered. He stood, pacing once, twice. The candles threw long shadows up the wall. He rubbed his jaw. His hand trembled. Not from nerves. From need. You're lucky to have me, he said, voice low. You forget who I am. I remember who you are, Emily said. I'm asking you to remember who I am. His laugh broke in half. He grabbed her wrist, too tight, too fast. Don't talk back. Let go, she said. He didn't. He pulled her close and kissed her like a warning. She pushed his chest. He stumbled, then snapped. The beast inside the prince opened its eyes. His fingers dug into her arms. She winced. Han Jun. Stop. Don't embarrass me, he hissed. Not tonight. Not ever. The slap landed like a stamp on a letter never meant to be sent. Silence after. Candlelight shaking. Emily's cheek burned. Her pride burned hotter. She looked up slowly. I'm not your toy. For a heartbeat, he looked afraid of himself. Then the fear turned to fury. You'll walk down that aisle tomorrow, he said. You'll smile, and you'll behave. Or I will. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. Emily's mind went very still, the way a sea goes still before a storm. A quiet voice inside her said one word, run. She moved with care. I'm getting water, she said. I'll be right back. He watched her. He was used to obedience. He was used to winning. Emily stepped into the kitchen, slipped off her heels, and picked up her phone. No messages. No rescue. Only herself. She set the glass under the tap. Water roared. The door was 3 steps away. Her heart pounded loud enough to be a siren. She took those 3 steps and then took 3 more. The lock turned with a soft click. She stepped into the hall. The air there felt like new lungs. Emily, Han Jun called. The beast had heard the cage open. She ran. Down the hall. Down the stairs. Into the Seoul night, the city lights wide awake, the street wet with fresh rain. Every streetlight felt like an eye. Every echo felt like his footsteps. Don't look back, she told herself. Just move. Taxi horns. Night wind. Neon signs in Hangul blurring past. Her breath burned, but freedom burned brighter. She turned a corner and saw a red glow pulsing like a heartbeat, Camorra Lounge. She pushed through the door. Music hit like a wave. Bass thumped under her feet. Laughter, smoke, shadows. She slipped into the crowd and let the noise wrap around her like a shield. Are you late? A sharp voice snapped beside her. Emily turned. A man in a black suit, earpiece tucked under slick hair, stared her down. He didn't wait for an answer. This way. The boss hates to wait. I think you Now. He cut the air with his hand. The hallway swallowed them. A door opened. A private room. Men in suits. Cold eyes. On a leather couch sat a man with a face made of winter, calm, unreadable, dangerous. Chung-hee. CEO. King in a city that bows to power. His gaze met Emily's and held it. The room shifted. Someone slid papers across the table. Bride is here, a voice said. Sign before the clock turns. Emily blinked. Bride. A pen touched her hand. Her fingers closed around it because her body needed a new story, any story that wasn't the old one. The paper waited like a door. Chung-hee's voice was soft and heavy. Do you understand what this means? Emily looked at the door behind her, at the pen in her hand, at the man in front of her whose eyes did not flinch. I understand one thing, she said. I'm not going back. The pen moved. Ink met paper. Somewhere far away, a beast roared. Somewhere close, a king smiled with his eyes. And Soul kept breathing. The moment the ink touched the paper, something inside her shifted. She felt it, a strange calm, like walking into a storm and realizing you're the lightning. Good, one of the men said, snatching the papers away. The contract is sealed. Chung-hee's eyes didn't leave her. You're braver than you look, he murmured. I'm just tired of being scared, she whispered. He tilted his head slightly, studying her face. What's your name? She hesitated. Emily, she said finally. The name felt like both a truth and a goodbye. Chung-hee nodded slowly, his expression softening for just a second, a flash of something human behind the Mafia steel. Then welcome to Camorra Group, Emily. The men around them began to leave one by one, their voices fading into the hall. Soon, it was just her and him. The silence was heavy but not empty. You don't belong here, he said quietly. I don't belong anywhere, she replied. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. Then maybe you belong to me. The words made her shiver, not with fear, but with something deeper. Outside, thunder rumbled through the Seoul sky. The rain hadn't stopped, and neither had fate. Emily looked at the man in front of her, dangerous, calm, powerful, and for the first time in years, she wasn't sure if she had escaped hell or walked into another one. And far away, in the shadows of a luxury apartment, Han Jun lit a cigarette, staring at her photo on his phone. His smile was dark. Run all you want, Emily, he whispered. But you'll never outrun me. The storm outside roared louder, a perfect echo of what was coming next. When Emily Adams opened her eyes the next morning, the world was unrecognizable. The soft hum of an air purifier filled the silence. A silk blanket covered her. Golden light streamed through glass walls, revealing Seoul's skyline from above the clouds. For a second, she wondered if she had died. Then the scent of coffee and the sound of footsteps reminded her she was alive. But she wasn't free. A woman in a black uniform bowed slightly. Good morning, madam. Breakfast is ready. Madam. Emily sat up slowly, her mind spinning. I think there's been a mistake. No mistake, the woman said politely. Mr. Chung-hee instructed that you be treated with respect. You are the contract bride of Camorra Group. Emily froze. The words hit her like thunder. Contract bride. Her memory flashed, the nightclub, the suits, the papers, the pen. Her trembling hand signing something she didn't understand. Oh my God, she whispered, gripping the sheets. The woman smiled faintly. You'll find your wardrobe prepared in the next room. Mr. Chung-hee wishes to see you downstairs when you're ready. When the door closed, Emily pressed her hands against her face. What did I do? She murmured. She walked to the mirror. The reflection staring back was someone new, a woman in silk pajamas, her bruises faint but still visible, her eyes heavy with fear and exhaustion. She inhaled deeply. You can do this. You survived worse. The elevator opened to a wide marble floor. Men in suits bowed as she passed. Their silence felt like judgment. At the far end of the hall stood Chung-hee, in a charcoal suit, his hands tucked in his pockets, looking out at the skyline. He didn't turn when he spoke. Sleep well? Emily swallowed. I'm sorry for last night. I shouldn't be here. He finally faced her, eyes calm but sharp. You signed a marriage contract with Camorra Group. It was a mistake, she said. I didn't even know what I was signing. Chung-hee walked toward her slowly. People don't end up in Camorra by mistake, Emily. I was running, she confessed. From someone. From something. He studied her face for a moment, then nodded. Everyone who ends up here is running from something. Their eyes met, hers full of fear, his full of something else. Curiosity. Sympathy. Maybe even admiration. Until we sort this out, he said, you'll stay here. Safely. I can't stay here, Emily protested. If he finds me. Chung-hee interrupted softly. Who? She hesitated. Han Jun. At the mention of the name, something flickered in his eyes. Recognition, then disdain. Han Jun, he repeated. The son of the Han family. Yes, she whispered. His, not who people think he is. I know exactly who he is, Chung-hee said coldly. And that makes this even more interesting. He turned to his desk, picking up a file. You'll work here for now. You can handle English correspondence and translation for the group's international partners. Lee Jae will assist you. Emily blinked. Work. You want me to work for you? Would you rather run again? He asked simply. She didn't answer. He looked at her one last time before walking away. I don't trust easily, he said quietly. But something tells me you didn't walk into my world by accident. When the door closed behind him, Emily exhaled shakily. Her mind raced. She had just been offered a job, by the most feared man in Seoul. Hours later, she sat in an elegant office overlooking the Han River, pretending to type while her heart refused to calm down. Lee Jae, the tall, quiet man assigned to help her, placed a cup of tea beside her desk. You must be special, he said casually. Why do you say that? Boss never keeps strangers around, Lee Jae replied. Since you came, he hasn't thrown a single glass at anyone. Emily smiled faintly, unsure if he was joking. She looked up and saw Chung-hee standing by the glass wall again, his reflection framed by the Seoul skyline. His face was unreadable, but when their eyes met, he didn't look away. For a moment, time stopped. The city outside blurred. She wasn't sure if she should thank fate or curse it, but she knew one thing. This was not the same kind of danger she'd known before. This was quieter, deeper, seductive. And somewhere, in a dark corner of Seoul, Han Jun stared at a news headline flashing on his phone screen. Mysterious bride spotted at Camorra Tower beside CEO Chung-hee. His lips curved into a cruel smile. So this is where you ran, Emily, he murmured. Then I'll burn it down to bring you back. As night fell over Seoul, two men, one ruthless, one broken, began a war neither of them saw coming. And Emily stood between them, unaware that love was about to become her most dangerous secret. Seoul's skyline glowed like gold that evening, but for Emily Adams, the light only reminded her how dark freedom could feel. Days had passed since she began working for Chung-hee, and though the Camorra Tower was a fortress, fear still followed her like a shadow. Every ring of her phone made her flinch. Every unknown number felt like a threat. Because one of them was. The first call came at midnight. Her phone buzzed softly beside her bed. Half asleep, she answered. Hello. A pause. Then a voice she'd hoped to never hear again. You really thought you could hide from me? Her heart stopped. Han Jun. His laugh was low, cruel. You belong to me, Emily. You were mine before you ever met him. Do you think I'll let some gangster keep what's mine? Her hands trembled. Please stop calling me. Oh, I won't stop, he hissed. I'll watch. I'll wait. And when I'm ready, I'll take you back. The line went dead. Emily stared at the dark screen, her breath catching in her throat. For the first time since entering Camorra Tower, she didn't feel safe. She felt hunted. The next morning, she arrived at work pale and quiet. Chung-hee noticed immediately. He was in his office, going through files when she came in with reports. Her voice was calm, but her eyes weren't. He looked up. What happened? Nothing, she lied quickly. Don't lie to me, he said, his tone low but firm. You're shaking. Emily hesitated. The truth pressed against her lips, begging to be spoken. But she was afraid he'd throw her out if he knew her past was crawling back. It's just stress, she said finally. Chung-hee leaned back in his chair, his eyes narrowing slightly. Stress doesn't make your hands tremble like that. When she didn't answer, he sighed and stood. Come with me. Where are we going? He didn't reply. He simply walked, and she followed, unsure if she was walking into safety or danger. He led her to the rooftop, high above the city, where the wind blew strong and the noise below faded into whispers. The night stretched wide and endless. Breathe, he said quietly. Up here, no one can reach you. Emily closed her eyes and let the cold air hit her face. It helped, a little. Thank you, she said softly. He looked at her, really looked at her, and something flickered in his eyes. Who's calling you, Emily? She froze. What? I heard your phone last night, he said. You forgot to turn it off before you left the office. It rang 3 times. Same number. Her throat tightened. The lie broke. It's him, she whispered. Han Jun. The name alone seemed to darken the air. Chung-hee's jaw tightened. You should have told me. I didn't want to cause trouble. You've already done enough for me. He stepped closer. Keeping secrets causes more trouble. You're safe here only if I know what I'm protecting you from. Tears welled in her eyes. You can't protect me from him. He's everywhere. He has people. Money. He's obsessed. Chung-hee's expression didn't change, but his voice turned steel cold. He's not untouchable. Please, she begged. Don't get involved. He'll destroy everything you've built. He shook his head. No one destroys what I build. For a moment, silence filled the space between them. The wind tangled her hair, his eyes stayed locked on hers. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced down, a message from security. Unknown car seen near the tower's south entrance. Male driver. No clearance. Chung-hee's face hardened. Go back to your room, he said suddenly. Now. Why? Because you're right. He's here. By the time Emily reached her suite, the guards were already alert. Through the window, she saw a dark car idling across the street. Her heart pounded. She knew that car. Han Jun's. Her phone buzzed again. Another message. I can see your window. You look beautiful in white. She dropped the phone, trembling. Minutes later, there was a knock at her door. Emily, came Chung-hee's voice. She opened it, her eyes wet. He found me. Chung-hee looked past her toward the window. I know. He stepped inside, his presence filling the room like a storm. From now on, you don't walk alone. You don't answer calls. And you don't open doors unless it's me or Lee Jae. I'm sorry, she whispered. I should have told you sooner. He looked at her, not with anger this time, but something deeper. I'm not angry, he said softly. I'm disappointed, because you didn't trust me. Emily felt her chest tighten. I didn't think I could. His eyes softened. Then start now. But before she could respond, he turned away, his tone suddenly cold again. Until further notice, you'll be moved out of Camorra Tower. You'll stay somewhere else. Her heart sank. You're sending me away. It's safer, he said. For me or for you, she whispered. He didn't answer. He simply walked out, leaving the scent of his cologne and a silence heavier than any scream. When the door closed, Emily sat on the bed and pressed her face into her hands. He was protecting her, and pushing her away at the same time. And somewhere outside, in that dark car, Han Jun lit another cigarette, his eyes burning with madness. You can hide behind him, Emily, he murmured, watching the tower. But you're still mine. The smoke curled through the night, carrying his promise, a promise that would soon turn Seoul into a battlefield of love, betrayal, and revenge. Sometimes the person who pushes you away is the one who's afraid of losing you the most. The sun rose cold over Seoul the next morning, its light washing across the glass walls of Camorra Tower. Inside, the air felt different, quieter, heavier. Emily Adams stood by the elevator, holding a small suitcase, her heart sinking as the doors slid open. She looked back one last time. The marble floors, the smell of coffee, the sound of distant footsteps, everything that had become a strange kind of home was now just another place she was leaving behind. Chung-hee had ordered her departure before dawn. No explanation. No goodbye. Miss Emily, said Lee Jae, his voice gentle. Your car is waiting. Emily nodded. He didn't even come down to see me, did he? Lee Jae hesitated. His, not good with goodbyes. She forced a faint smile. Neither am I. As the elevator doors closed, Lee Jae watched her go, and for the first time in years, he saw something in his boss's eyes that scared him more than anger ever could: regret. Upstairs, Chung-hee sat alone in his office. The blinds were half closed, the city below just a blur of silver. He stared at the file on his desk but didn't turn a page. "Sir," Lee Jae said carefully, stepping in, "you shouldn't have sent her away." Chung-hee didn't look up. "It's better this way." "Better for who?" Lee Jae asked quietly. "Because it doesn't look like you're at peace with it." Chung-hee exhaled, slow and heavy. "You saw what happened. Han-jun found her. He's unpredictable, violent. Keeping her here would have made her a target. And you think sending her away makes her safer?" Lee Jae challenged. "That man would burn the city to the ground to get her back. She needs protection. She needs you." Silence. The ticking of the wall clock was the only sound. Lee Jae took a step forward. "Ever since she came here, you've been different, sir. You stopped drinking. You started smiling. You even let people talk to you without fear. She changed something in you. You can't deny it." Chung-hee's eyes finally lifted, sharp but tired. "This isn't about feelings, Lee Jae. This is about survival." Lee Jae didn't flinch. "Survival means nothing if you kill what makes you human." The words hung in the air like smoke. Then, quietly, Chung-hee spoke. "Bring her back." Lee Jae blinked. "Sir." "I said bring her back," he repeated, his tone low but certain. "She stays under Kimura's protection. I'll handle Han-jun myself." A small smile broke across Lee Jae's face. "Yes, boss." Later that night, the sound of knocking startled Emily in her small hotel room. She hesitated, heart racing, then opened the door, and gasped. "Lee Jae." He gave a small bow. "Boss sent me." Her eyes widened. "He wants me back." "He realized Kimura isn't Kimura without you," Lee Jae said simply. Tears welled in her eyes before she could stop them. "I thought he didn't care." Lee Jae smiled faintly. "If he didn't care, you'd still be here." Emily laughed softly, wiping her eyes. "That makes no sense." "Exactly," he said. "That's love." When Emily returned to Kimura Tower that night, the lobby lights were dim, the world outside quiet. She stepped out of the elevator and found Chung-hee standing near his office window, his back turned. "I didn't expect to come back," she said softly. "I didn't expect to want you back," he replied without turning around. Her heart skipped. "Then why send me away?" He turned slowly, his gaze meeting hers, dark, conflicted, vulnerable. "Because when something matters too much, I destroy it. I didn't want that to happen to you." Emily took a step closer. "You didn't destroy me, Chung-hee. You saved me." He said nothing, just stared, like he was searching for proof in her face that she meant it. Then, almost without realizing it, he reached for her hand. His touch was warm, steady, real. "Stay," he whispered. "But understand something. Being near me comes with danger." She squeezed his hand gently. "I stopped being afraid the night I met you." For a long moment, silence filled the room, heavy with everything neither of them dared to say. Finally, he smiled, just a small, rare smile that made her heart tremble. "You're impossible." "Then we're even," she said. They stood there for a while, the city lights painting gold against their shadows. It wasn't love yet, not fully. But it was something close, something fragile and dangerous that neither of them could let go. From his car parked in the distance, Han-jun watched the top of Kimura Tower through binoculars. He could see them, two figures standing close, their silhouettes framed by light. His hand tightened around the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. "So this is what it takes to make you smile, Emily," he whispered. "Then I'll take it all away. Every smile, every breath." He leaned back, eyes burning with obsession. "Let's see how long your new protector lasts." Outside, lightning split the sky, a silent warning that the storm was only beginning. And for Emily and Chung-hee, love was about to become the most dangerous thing they'd ever face. Rain fell over Seoul like silver needles that night, slicing through the darkness. From the top floors of Kimura Tower, the world below looked peaceful, unaware of the storm that was quietly brewing inside. Emily Adams sat by the office window, her laptop open, eyes focused on a glowing spreadsheet. Her job at Camorra Group had grown more demanding. She was now handling Chung-hee's international files, documents filled with secret mergers, coded contracts, and confidential accounts. It should have felt like progress. But lately, something felt wrong. Numbers weren't adding up. Beside her, Lee Jae reviewed another set of reports. "You look troubled," he said, not taking his eyes off the screen. Emily bit her lip. "Does Camorra have any new investors lately?" "Several," Lee Jae replied. "Why?" "There's a name that keeps appearing in these documents, Han Industries. I checked the registry. It doesn't exist." Lee Jae frowned. "Could be a shell company." "Why?" Emily hesitated, scrolling through the file. Her pulse quickened when she saw the signature at the bottom of the digital page, one she recognized instantly. Han Jun. She leaned back slowly, heart pounding. Because the man behind it might be the same person who's been threatening me. Lee Jae looked up sharply. "Han Jun?" Emily nodded. "He's using fake identities. He's trying to infiltrate Camorra." Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Han Jun sat in a dark penthouse, his table scattered with documents and pills. His hair was messy, his smile dangerous. Across from him, two men in suits waited nervously. "So," Han Jun said, pouring himself a drink, "Camorra's boss thinks he's untouchable." One of the men nodded. "Our team has already sent the offer through Han Industries. They think it's an overseas investor. The deal will go through within a week." Han Jun smirked. "Good. Once it's approved, I'll have access to their accounts, their shipments, everything. And when it all collapses, I'll make sure Chung-hee knows exactly why." He raised his glass, eyes gleaming. "He took my woman. I'll take his empire." Back at Camorra Tower, Emily burst into Chung-hee's office, clutching the printed documents. He looked up from his desk, surprised by her urgency. "Emily?" She placed the papers in front of him. "You need to see this." He scanned the pages quickly, his expression hardening with each line. "Han Industries," he muttered. "So that's what he's calling himself now." "You knew?" Emily asked, shocked. "I suspected," Chung-hee said, leaning back in his chair. "But I needed proof. You just gave it to me." Emily stared at him. "What are you going to do?" He looked up, his eyes cold and sharp. "End it." "No," she said quickly. "Don't go after him. He's dangerous, Chung-hee. He'll do anything to hurt you." A faint smile touched his lips. "He already has." He stood, buttoning his suit jacket. "Lee Jae." Within seconds, Lee Jae entered. "Prepare a meeting," Chung-hee ordered. "Tomorrow night. Warehouse District 14. Make sure Han Jun gets the invitation." Lee Jae hesitated. "Sir, that's..." "I know," Chung-hee cut in. "Exactly where he'll feel safe." Emily grabbed his arm. "You can't face him alone. He's not the man you think he is anymore." Chung-hee turned to her, his gaze softening just slightly. "And I'm not the man he thinks I am either." Their eyes locked, fear and love tangled in silence. "Please," she whispered, "don't let him drag you into his madness." He reached up and brushed a tear from her cheek with his thumb. "This isn't madness, Emily. This is justice." She caught his hand, her voice breaking. "Promise me you'll come back." His lips curved faintly, a smile too fragile to believe. "Only if you promise to wait." Her heart clenched. "Always." That night, Emily couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Han Jun's smirk and Chung-hee's determined face. She knew what that meeting really meant. It wasn't business. It was war. She sat up suddenly, grabbing her phone. "Lee Jae," she whispered when he answered. "Please stop him. Don't let him go alone." Lee Jae's voice was calm but heavy. "You think I'd ever leave him alone?" "I'll be there, Miss Emily. Whatever happens, stay inside. Don't leave Camorra." But Emily couldn't rest. Deep down, she knew the next day would change everything. Across town, Han Jun loaded his gun and smiled at his reflection. "Tomorrow," he said softly, "I'll make them both remember who I am." At sunrise, Camorra Tower stood tall against the city's pale sky, unaware that by nightfall, love, revenge, and betrayal would collide in a single gunshot that would echo through every life it touched. And Emily, caught between two men and two worlds, would soon learn that even love has a price. The night was colder than usual, the air heavy with the kind of silence that only comes before tragedy. Emily Adams stood by the tall glass window of Camorra Tower, her eyes fixed on the glowing city below. Seoul looked peaceful, but her heart wasn't. Every second ticked like thunder in her chest. Chung-hee had gone to meet Han-jun. Alone. He had promised her he'd return, but she had seen the way he looked before leaving, calm and deadly, like a man walking toward his fate. Lee Jae had tried to reassure her, but even his voice had cracked when he said, "Don't worry, Miss Emily. He knows what he's doing." But Emily knew better. No one knew what they were doing when love and hate mixed together. She pressed her forehead against the cold glass and whispered, "Please, come back." In the old industrial zone on the outskirts of Seoul, the rain fell hard. Warehouse 14 stood silent, the metal doors glistening under the dim floodlights. Inside, Chung-hee waited, hands in his pockets, black suit soaked, his gaze fixed on the shadows beyond the door. Then came the sound of tires screeching. Headlights cut through the darkness. Han-jun stepped out, dressed in all black, an umbrella in one hand, a smirk on his face. Behind him, two armed men followed. "So this is where the great Chung-hee does business," Han-jun sneered. "I almost expected more class." "This isn't business," Chung-hee said quietly. "It's closure." Han-jun laughed, the sound sharp like broken glass. "Closure? You think killing me will fix what she did to you?" "This isn't about her," Chung-hee replied. "It's about you, the monster you've become." Han-jun's grin widened. "Monster? I learned from the best. You, boss of Camorra, acting like a saint. But we're the same, both killers, both liars. You just wear better suits." Chung-hee took one step closer, his voice low and steady. "The difference is, I protect what I love. And I destroy it," Han-jun snapped. He dropped the umbrella, revealing the gun in his hand. The moment froze, the echo of rain, the tension thick enough to taste. "You took her from me," Han-jun hissed. "You made her forget who she belonged to." "She never belonged to you," Chung-hee said, his tone colder than the rain. "You broke her spirit. I just reminded her she still had one." "Liar!" Han-jun shouted, his finger tightening on the trigger. "She loved me first. Then you should have loved her right," Chung-hee said softly. A flash. A gunshot. But the bullet missed its mark, grazing Chung-hee's shoulder as he moved fast, drawing his own weapon. The warehouse exploded with chaos. Gunfire echoed through the metal walls, the smell of smoke and blood mixing with the rain. Han-jun's men fell one by one under Camorra's hidden snipers. The last shot rang out. Silence. Then, a gasp. Han-jun stumbled back, clutching his chest. Blood bloomed across his shirt. He looked down, shocked, then at Chung-hee, whose gun was still raised, his expression unreadable. "You," Han-jun wheezed, falling to his knees. "She'll hate you, when she finds out." Chung-hee's jaw tightened. "She'll understand why." Han-jun's eyes dimmed, the life leaving him like smoke. "You think you've won," he whispered. "But she'll always see my face when she looks at you." Then he collapsed. The rain swallowed the sound of his last breath. At Camorra Tower, Emily's phone buzzed violently. Unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. "Miss Emily," said Lee Jae's voice on the other end, low and steady. "It's over." Her heart stopped. "What do you mean it's over?" There was a long pause. Then, Han-jun won't hurt you anymore. She dropped the phone. Her knees went weak. Tears blurred her vision. She knew what that meant. She ran, out of the room, through the corridors, into the elevator, her breath trembling with every floor she passed. By the time she reached the Camorra garage, her voice was breaking. "Please, let him be alive," she whispered. When she arrived at the warehouse, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. The smell of gunpowder lingered in the air. Chung-hee stood alone under the flickering light, his suit stained with blood. Emily froze. "You're hurt." He turned slowly, his expression empty. "It's nothing." She rushed to him, grabbing his arm. "It's not nothing, you're bleeding." He looked down at her, eyes full of sorrow. "He left me no choice. hairs ran down her face. Did you have to kill him? He would never stop, he said. Not until you were gone, or worse. Her voice trembled. I didn't want this, Chung-hee. I just wanted peace. He cupped her face gently, his thumb wiping away her tears. Sometimes peace demands war. For a moment, neither spoke. Only the soft rain filled the silence between them. Emily leaned into him, sobbing quietly. He said I'd hate you if you killed him. Chung-hee's hand paused. And do you? She shook her head, whispering, no. I hate that it came to this. But I don't hate you. He exhaled, relief and guilt mixing in his chest. He wrapped his arms around her, holding her as if she was the only thing anchoring him to the world. I'm sorry, he murmured. For everything. Her tears soaked his shirt. Then let's end this, for real this time. No more blood. No more running. He nodded slowly. No more running. Outside, the dawn began to break, faint and fragile, over the sleeping city. Two souls stood in the ruins of violence, both broken, both saved. And somewhere in that fragile silence, love, dark, complicated, and scarred, finally began to heal. Weeks passed, and Soul moved on, unaware of the storm that had come and gone. The news called it a business dispute gone wrong. The police called it self-defense. But inside Emily Adams' heart, there were no simple words for what had happened, only the quiet ache of everything she had lost, and everything she had found. Han Jun was gone. His name vanished from the headlines. His family paid to bury the scandal. The city forgot him. But Emily never could. Not entirely. Sometimes at night, she still heard his voice echoing through her dreams, half anger, half regret. The man who broke her had also taught her what love should never be. And now, somehow, she had to learn how to love again. The morning sun spilled gently into the penthouse suite atop Kamora Tower. Emily stood by the window, sipping tea, dressed simply in a cream blouse and grey skirt. Her wounds had healed. The bruises on her skin had faded, but the ones in her heart took longer. Behind her, a familiar voice spoke. You're awake early. She turned to see Chung-hee standing there, in a black shirt and slacks, his arm still bandaged from the gunfight. His presence filled the room, calm, powerful, and strangely gentle. I couldn't sleep, Emily said softly. The city's too quiet. He walked closer, stopping beside her. Quiet means peace. Peace feels unfamiliar, she whispered. He looked at her then, really looked, as if searching for the woman who had once been frightened and broken. But she wasn't that woman anymore. There was strength in her voice now, fire behind her eyes. You changed me, he said finally. Emily smiled faintly. You changed yourself. They stood side by side, watching the sunrise touch the city. For once, the air between them wasn't heavy with danger. It was light, fragile, real. Later that day, Lee Jae entered the office carrying files, his usual stoic face hiding a rare smile. The final reports are done, he said. Kamora's clean again. No fake accounts, no hidden names. You can finally rest easy. Chung-hee nodded, but his eyes drifted toward Emily. I already do. Lee Jae chuckled quietly, setting the files down. It's strange, sir. Everyone used to fear this building. Now people say Kamora feels warmer. Maybe it's the new management, Emily teased, crossing her arms. Or maybe it's the woman who brought light into the shadows, Lee Jae said with a bow before leaving. Emily laughed softly, shaking her head. He talks like we're in a drama. Chung-hee smirked. Maybe we are. That evening, as dusk settled over Seoul, Chung-hee led her to the rooftop garden, the place where everything between them had begun. The city lights shimmered below, reflecting off the glass walls like scattered diamonds. Emily turned to him, curious. Why are we up here? He didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Her breath caught. Chung-hee. No contracts, he said quietly, his voice almost trembling. No signatures. Just truth. He opened the box. Inside, a simple silver ring caught the light. I once built an empire to protect myself from pain. Then you walked into my life, and reminded me I still had a heart. Emily's eyes filled with tears. You're serious? He nodded slowly. I'm not good with words. But I know this, I don't want to build anything else if you're not in it. Her hands shook as he slid the ring onto her finger. The wind carried the faint scent of rain and roses. She whispered, I never thought love could feel this quiet. It's quiet, he said, because it's real. She smiled through her tears. Then let's keep it that way. Weeks later, in a small Buddhist temple hidden in the mountains outside Seoul, two figures stood before a monk. There were no cameras, no headlines, no crowd, only candlelight and the sound of bells in the distance. Do you, Chung-hee, vow to protect her, not as your possession, but as your peace? I do. And you, Emily Adams, vow to walk beside him, not as his shadow, but as his equal? I do. The monk smiled. Then you are bound not by power or fear, but by love. That night, under 1,000 stars, they walked hand in hand through the quiet temple courtyard. Emily looked up at him, her voice soft. You think we deserve this ending? Chung-hee smiled faintly. We earned it. She leaned her head on his shoulder. After everything. I still can't believe we survived. He wrapped his arm around her gently. We didn't just survive, Emily. We began again. And so, the woman who ran barefoot through Seoul's rain found her peace beside the man who once lived in shadows. Not every scar vanished. Not every memory faded. But when she closed her eyes, she no longer saw fear. She saw home.